We aren't recording yet. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're recording. Okay, I will, good afternoon, everybody. I will call this meeting to order and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag, please. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's start after me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of
America and to the republic
for
for which it stands,
one
one
nation
nation under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Boy, I can't wait till we can all say that together in the boardroom. Sure does sound a whole lot better in the boardroom.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say the invocation today. We ask the Heavenly Father in thy infinite wisdom to guide the members of this board in such a way that all their thoughts, endeavors, and decisions will be made for the betterment of the entire community. We also beseech thee to protect our country and our people from all conflicts, both foreign and domestic.
Amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Director Sewell,
Here.
Director Grasha,
Here.
Director Duncan,
Here.
Vice President Martin,
Here.
President Wright.
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum.
Thank you. Mr. Pinckney, the rules of procedure, please.
Yes. According to the rules of procedure adopted by the board, all notice meetings are conducted using Rosenberg's Rules of Order as a procedural guideline. Directors should refrain from responding directly to public comments at meetings of the board. The president of the board presides at all meetings and decides all points of order and procedure during meetings. The president is responsible for the maintenance of order and decorum at all board meetings. No person should be allowed to speak who has not first been recognized by the president. All questions and remarks should be addressed to the president as the presiding officer. No member of the board should speak more than once upon any one subject until every other member of the board wishing to speak on the subject shall have been given an opportunity to speak. No board member shall interfere with the orderly progress of a board meeting. In order to ensure the orderly progress of board meetings, the board president regulates the amount of time to be dedicated to a particular agenda item.
Thank you. Okay, Arden, do you have any other COVID-19 updates?
Other than we did get the official news that we're in what, and I could never figure this. I wish there was a simpler way to do it, the red zone, which means that things will start to open up again. And that the essential workers, water and sewer employees, can now start to get their shot. And we've had several of them that have told me this morning that they got their first shot over the weekend. So it's starting to happen and the vaccine is out there. We are nevertheless going to stick to our schedule and remain safe in the meantime until we get a pretty good idea of, that we have most everybody vaccinated. Hopefully we'll get everybody vaccinated. And with that said, I don't believe there's anything new other than what I shared with you on Thursday. Okay.
Okay, just for the record, I skipped public input because I heard you say there was nobody for public input. So is there? I should ask, I suppose.
Ma'am, I do have a Jeff Davis in the meeting, and I tried to put him in a breakout room with Amanda to figure out if he wanted to speak at public comment, but he didn't go in. So, Mr. Davis,
Okay.
Are you here for public comment?
I'm not here for public comment, no.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, Jeff. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, human resources report in the employee recognition.
Again, we touched on this a bit. We have Mark Vermeer, who's been here 20 years, and we will have a meeting with all the employees Wednesday morning, and we will be sure that Mark gets his pin and is recognized. And I think we'll maybe at some point we can say something about him. I'm not sure if Bassam on at the meeting if he wanted to say anything about Mark?
He's here, sir.
Okay. Did you want to say anything, Bassam?
Sure, I don't mind saying something. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
I've had the opportunity to work with Mark now for about 2.5 years now. And Mark's been a great employee. 20 years is a big accomplishment for anybody. He's been it's been outstanding. He just received a few awards. And he does a great job for the district, and we appreciate him here every day.
Thanks, Bassam. Yeah, Mark and I have, a long, good history. He's been here, of course, since I've been here just 16 years or going close to 16 years. Mark has been in several different positions since he's been here. He's very adaptable. He's a local resident, so many times when we have issues with our system here, he gets on the spot faster than anybody. And he's just a good employee that we can all be very proud of. He's very intelligent and very accomplished. So thanks, Mark, for spending 20 years with us. I wish he was listening, but I think he's still on vacation. And that's it, President.
Teresa.
Well, no, okay, I'll go on to Teresa. Teresa is also somebody that I've worked with, and she started out in customer service, then moved into the engineering program. And as you see, I hired Teresa. We've been, again, also through many different, times. Teresa, like me, has seen the best and Mark and Carol. All three of these people have seen this district go through the best of times and the worst of times. And Teresa is gradually improved, and she's been a great person and a great asset to the engineering department. And thanks, Teresa, for your commitment and your years with the district.
That'd be 13 years. And then we have Carol Marin at 19 years.
And Carol is one of those people that is dear to my heart. She always does almost anything that we ask her to do. She's there to assist us in doing most anything. She helps us with the booth. She works for Victoria, and I think Victoria might want to say a few words also.
Sure, I'd be happy to, after you, Arden, of course.
No, go ahead. I can always finish when you're done.
Oh, well, I just want to echo your statements. Carol is celebrating 19 years. She's an integral part of the district, of course, in the public outreach team, but just this past year alone, she's been instrumental with the toilet rebate program, and she knows the good majority of our public outreach archives. Just 2 weeks ago, she pulled out a archive article when Alan Horton, was when the plant was named after Alan Horton. So she knows our archives, my goodness, like the back of her hand. So she's definitely an integral part. I'm excited for her to continue out here with the district.
Thank you. And then we also have Lisa Pelton, who got an accounting certificate this month. Congratulations, Lisa.
Yes. All of our employees, we have several that are working on education too, and the district is helping them with that effort, and we can really be proud, especially of these four. You can see that there's Lisa's been here a long time also, and
She has.
this is longevity that really helps us in some history that is good for the district. So thank you. Thanks to all four of them.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Okay, we'll move on to action items. On number 2, Resolution 2021-02, Aqua JPIA Executive Committee Election Nominations. So we have a nomination where a request from Randall James Reed to the Association of California Water Agencies Joint Power Authority Executive Committee, concurring with the nomination by his Board of Directors. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Now I'll just say the first two, before we get to Joe, is they are for the joint powers. We can nominate, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dory, but I think there's 4 open spots. So we can nominate, both of these people if we so desire. We know them both.
Yes, we do.
And in fact, we talk to them almost at every conference. So it's your preference as to what the board wants to do.
Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2021-02.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Gracia,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
President Wright.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 3, Resolution 2021-03, which is another Aqua JPI Executive Committee election nomination, like Arden said, asking us to concur with the nomination of Melody A. McDonald to the Association of California Water Agencies Joint Power Authority Executive Committee. Same thing, we know her very well. I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2021-03.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second it.
I think that was Director Duncan.
I think so. There was a third in there too.
There was.
There was. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Gracia,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
President Wright.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. Item number 4, Resolution 2021-04, CSDA Board of Directors concurring nomination for Joe McKenzie, Southern Network Seat A. And we happen to have Joe with us today. So Joe, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I thought I would just zoom right on in and say hi to everybody since we didn't get to see you in December, and we're not going to be able to see a whole lot of you come May. And I do know most of you, and I'm just here to ask for your concurrence on my nomination for my seat on the CSDA Board of Directors. I've been on the board for about 12 years now, and it's a three-year term. We're going places. Our membership is up over 1,000 now. So we have about half of the special districts in the state are members of CSDA. And we're trying to set up a national association. And we have about 6 states that have come together as a coalition at this point in time, but we keep reaching out, and there's interest throughout the country. And we worked very hard this year to get notice in this COVID relief bill, because as you know, it's states, counties, and cities that get the money. And then if the county wants to give up some of their money, they can give it to the special districts. But we special districts are not specifically named in that bill where we get our own piece of the pie. So we're working very hard to get that legislation through Congress. So other than that,
Good luck on that one. Thank you. Okay, thanks,
good
Joe.
luck getting anything through Congress.
Okay, thank you. So I will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2021-04.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Gracia,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
President Wright.
Definitely.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
luck,
Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much.
You can go or stay, whatever you'd like.
I'm going to stay through the next one, and then I'm going to cancel out.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Item number 6, contract with Michael Baker International for the preparation of water and wastewater systems master plan updates and capital budget augmentation. General Manager.
Are we on 6 or 5?
Oh, I'm sorry, 5. We are on 5. You're right. Award of contract for the, I had 5, but I read 6. Award of contract for the construction of Horton wastewater treatment plant influent pump station odor control system and capital budget augmentation. It's the other augmentation on the agenda. So we're at number 5. Yes, go ahead, Arden.
Well, I don't have anything more to add to it other than, like I said, odor control can be upwards of 30 to 40% of the capital cost of any plant, and then the operational costs are also substantial. And that's an across the board rule, basically. So we really do need to get this in as soon as possible, because the odors are going to get more and more prevalent and more of a problem as time goes on and our flows increase. So I think Lee is probably here, and Bassam, if you have any questions. So please ask us any questions if you have any more questions on this.
I have one.
Director Grasha, go right ahead.
This is a new system to address issues that have been ongoing, I guess. What have we been doing since 1970s when the plant was built? I mean, has there been other systems that have been in place, or have you just been going natural?
Well, Bassam, I'll let you answer that, and then while you're getting ready to answer it, but partly, no, we haven't done anything. First of all, the plant was pretty much in a rural area. It wasn't necessary.
Right.
In fact, we even had sludge drying beds, and we've removed those and went to a belt filter press about a decade ago, because the odors were an issue. And this is now, as the development gets closer and closer to the plant, different parts of the plant begin to be more prevalent and or more important. And this is something where, as our flows have reached capacity, our influent area is in need of having some odor control. That's where you're going to get most of the odor, because that is the raw sewage. Bassam, did you want to add anything to that, or Lee?
Lee isn't on this call, but I can add a little bit more to that. Arden, you pretty much summed it up. We did not have a system in place. This system was part of expansion 5 that was talked about years ago. And we're just now moving forward with this and getting this put together with the talks of the new regional plant, and not moving forward with the expansion 5 at Horton plant. This was we've been taking bits and pieces out that need to be done, and the odor control was one of those items.
If you probably don't want to venture into the guessing game here, but if you had to guess, for anybody really, what percentage of odor do you think would be addressed by this system, where it's at the intake, and then certain things happen throughout the process? Would you say that this is where half of the issues are? Because I know we had some problems out at the ponds, had to move some things around. I'm not sure what happened there, but for $700,000, what can we expect the neighbors to experience in terms of less odorous days? Would you say instead of 20 days a year where there would be a problem, it might be down to 10, or any idea along those lines?
That would be a difficult assessment. I don't know that I can give you a percentage. I can say, like we just did, that this is a large part of the odor because it is the influent and it is raw sewage. And I think it's also very relevant to the people operating the plant as much as anything too. Bassam, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Like you said, Arden, this would be kind of tough to figure out what percentage, but this will capture 100% of the odors coming from the influent pump station. So everything coming into the wastewater plant all the odors will be caught by this unit, this odor control unit.
Okay, thank you.
I got a follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
Several years ago, we had a little problem and we rented that belt filter press or the belt press for several years. I thought that's what that was for, was to address a potential odor problem, to dry out the sludge quicker.
And exactly, I just mentioned that was actually nearly 10 years ago. And yes, we were drying out, and it depends. We didn't have problems for years, and the reason we did it is that it was extremely less expensive to use sludge drying beds. By going to the belt press, we did eliminate a major odor problem. I mean, it was almost unbearable when we went to turn it over and to basically remove the sludge from those drying beds.
Okay, because you threw me there because Steve asked if we had any odor control in place down there, and you said no. And the belt press was directly.
Okay, maybe, yeah, just an interpretation. This is a different process. And it isn't like covering up and masking and then treating the odor. We just went to a different process. So,
Right.
and so, okay, maybe I should have said, well, the odor control project that we were working with was the sludge drying beds. And I suppose you could consider them an odor control process, yes. Now, if you want to say that's what they are, but it's mainly just a different way of drying out the sludge.
Okay, all right.
Right?
So does this actually cover that area and then filter it? How does it work? Does it cover it? I noticed that in some diagram, I saw some actual filter medium, and
No, those are two separate things. The sludge drying beds or the belt filter press.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, I looked online to see if I could find what you're talking about doing here. I couldn't quite figure it out. Are we going to completely cover with a dome?
I can help with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what happens is right now we have grates over the openings in the influent pump station.
Right.
Those grates will be removed and there'll be a solid plate that goes over it, so no odors can escape. We basically, it vacuums or it sucks in the odors and to this odor control unit, which is a carbon filtration system. And it basically scrubs the odor through carbon and then pushes it back out. The belt filter press is just a different process of dealing with our sludge. I wasn't around 10 years ago to answer this question 100%, but it probably helped with a lot of the odor at the plant, but it's just a different process of handling our sludge. So we still get some odors from the belt filter press, probably not nearly as much as what we used to get, but it's a different process.
Right.
The odor control system does not pick up, we can't be in an open environment and trying to control odors from an open environment. It's mainly for closed environment situations.
So what happens to the carbon filters? How long do they stay in service before they're changed out? How does that part of it work?
I can get that information for you. I I don't want to guess, but there is a recycling period where 1 to 3 years depends on how much they're used or how much odor is going through there. But media does get replaced on a routine basis, so we can find that information out.
Well, if you're all convinced this is the way to go, I'm all for it. I just kind of wanted to get an idea. I used to build odor control systems, and I just wanted to get a better idea of what we were doing, because what I did, I wasn't as confident as I hope you are with this system. So
we've evaluated two different multiple systems, but two different processes. One is more of a bio filtration system versus a carbon system. And the carbon system was the most effective and most cost-effective process to go.
thank you.
Thank you.
Just as a point, just as a point of interest too, with regard to sludge, again, it's just a process. Now, another process when these plants treat larger volumes, it isn't economical. Now, we could go to anaerobic digestion, which is quite complicated and uses a different process and anaerobic bacteria, but it does process the waste a little more efficiently than even the belt press, and it reduces the amount of sludge that we have. It's just that at certain flow levels, certain treatment processes are more cost effective than others. Okay?
Director Duncan, do you have comments or questions? No, Director or Vice President Martin, any questions, comments? No. Director Sewell?
No, thank you.
Okay, well, if I don't hear any more questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve item number 5, award of contract for the construction of the Horton wastewater treatment plant influent pump station, odor control system, and capital budget augmentation.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Gracia,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
President Wright.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion passes.
thank you. Okay, discussion items, number 7. Right. No.
What about 6?
I keep wanting to go jump over that one. I've already marked it that I did it was why with my pen. So anyway, contract with Michael Baker International for the preparation of water and waste system master plan updates and capital budget augmentation.
Okay, just to reiterate what I said, this document is probably one of the more important documents that we could have. It's been over a decade since we did the last water and wastewater system master plan. So it's and in the water system master plan, we did not have a capital improvements program. So it's time for us to put this in place. It will be the foundation for much of our financial master planning, and it'll give us a good framework under which we can estimate our future cost and needs. I don't know if you have any more questions, but that's all I have to say.
We'll start with Director Gracia. Questions on item number 6?
Yeah. If you had to go out on a limb here, how deep is this going to go? Is this going to get down to measuring, how many nuts and bolts we have in particular bins out in the
No,
yard, or what are we really doing here?
well, no, it's not. It's almost as detailed as that, but not to that extent. What it does do is it does, flow analysis. We figure out, and also looks at projections, looks at where our growth will go. It will tell us not only what we need to do to replace our existing system and lay a schedule out for that, which will translate into a financial plan. It also looks at what what growth we're expecting and how we can get that growth done, so that in place of us looking at just, expanding incrementally, that we look at what we look at our total growth is, so that we can save the district money by putting the system in that will accommodate not only just that incremental growth, but the long-term growth and what we plan to see as far as the need goes for infrastructure.
Will it examine our inventory of in-service equipment, like, for instance, the pumps that we have in service, not just the well pumps, but, transfer pumps and things of that nature? Will it look at the dates of installation versus?
To look at their lifespan and their, and our, ability, how much, at what point do we have to look at replacing those, our depreciation and schedule for that infrastructure. That includes the pipes, the pumps, the wells, the storage tanks, and look at different costs that are going to be associated with not only the operational aspects of our district, but also the future expansion.
Does it?
Gordon, don't we already have one?
We have.
I was going to say,
yeah.
We have one. This is
water
updating
and-
the one. He would like to see the one we have and what we're
Yeah.
updating.
Yeah, we already have a water and wastewater. The wastewater does have a capital improvements program, but the water doesn't.
Well,
We
I
have
noticed,
sites and it's on our website.
Oh, okay.
I noticed that one of the items on here would test four of our, and I thought, man, we've got a lot more of those. Let me see if I can find what they were talking about. Wait, this thing goes way too far. But they were going to test flow on 4 lines. And I wondered versus how many lines that if they were to test all of them, flow analysis.
Well, I can probably answer that.
Yeah.
What I'm assuming what they're doing, although I'm not, I'm not the engineer that's doing the analysis, but what they're doing is just checking to see if their calibration, I think, is pretty close to right, and how they're calculating this, and if they have a good feeling that what they're doing is the right thing, then they'll use that when they do the modeling for the rest of it's almost impossible. It would cost us a lot of money to check all of the flows in the hundreds of miles of pipe that we have.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's just an approach that they use, and it's pretty accurate.
Okay, Director Duncan.
Good question.
No, thank you.
Okay, Director Sewell.
No, thank you.
Vice President Martin.
No comment.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion then to approve the contract with Michael Baker International for the preparation of water and wastewater system master plan update and capital budget augmentation.
So moved.
Second for discussion.
Okay, go ahead. What would you like to?
Well, this wasn't in the budget, and it kind of popped up here as an item suddenly. I wondered how long and what the real depth of need for this is. It's been 16 years since one was done. We don't know where we'll be in 5 years, whether we'll need one or not. At least I just wondered how this got here.
Danny really did get into that a bit on Thursday. And what happened was, I think we had the system there, and I don't know, Bassam, do you remember the history? Maybe I should let you comment on that, but I think what happened was it took longer than we anticipated. So the original cost wasn't there when we went out. We had to adjust and come back with those adjustments together. the two plans, we did them individually when we originally did the plans back in 2000, prior to 2010. This time they will both be done at the same time. So we were hoping that we would get some preparation. We also had to go through some process with Baker in looking at seeing if we couldn't reduce the cost. And I believe we did reduce the cost by about $90,000. Do you remember, Bassam?
That sounds about.
So did you have anything you wanted to comment on with regard to, I mean, we just, the estimate in the budget was just not what bid, not the bids that we got, basically.
So it was in the budget. It was in the budget, but not at that price.
And that price, yes.
That's the only thing I can add is this has been capitalized for a few years now.
Good. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Did I ask everybody? Did I get Director Sewell? Did I get with you? Did I ask you?
I think
Yeah, nothing
I think
further.
we have a motion. Oh, excuse me. We do. We have a motion on the floor. Just hit me.
We have a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Gracia,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
President Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Now we can go to discussion items. Number 7, MSWD Regional Water Reclamation Facility and update. Do you have any more on that item today, Arden?
No, I don't, but you know, the thing that the only thing I would like to say today is that I'm very hopeful and very impressed that we haven't slid from what we basically laid out as a timetable. And I thought Steve did a really good job of presenting that last week to let you know what we can expect. And so far, it looks like we are on schedule. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hopefully we'll get our grants.
Okay, Director Gracia, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I just a worry really, and I'd like someone to address it at some point in the future. And that is the park was originally meant not to be a park. It was meant to be perk ponds. We need perk ponds. We're putting in a conveyance line so that we don't have to continue to expand the plant that's operating at 2 million gallons a day. If we were to expand the plant and add the perk ponds that we need to keep us in check right now, we would have to use that park. So by not doing it, we're basically admitting that we're not ever going to do it, and therefore the park is going to always be a park, and that we're spending millions of dollars for this conveyance line, and that gets into the touchy-feely area of giving a gift of district resources to a government that I think that we need to determine whether or not that park is now a gift of public funds, and we can put a price on it of how much we're, kind of looking the other way on. The value of that park is a great deal more if you look at the reality of it than the land itself, but it's preventing us from, it's forcing us to spend at least, I think, $8 million for the conveyance line. And perhaps to build another plant that we might not have to build right away, considering that you're allowing, at least in theory, and according to the last paperwork I read on that, the biggest building in the world is going to land in our district, and we're not going to require it to connect to our own wastewater treatment plant. So, I look at all of these things together and well, what are we really doing out there? And I fall back to that park.
What I remember is it had nothing to do with the park itself. As far as doing the regional plant goes, we talked about doing the 5 million gallon extension for the Horton plant, and we decided that it would be much more feasible to do a regional plant. And Arden, you want to talk on that? How our decision making? It wasn't the plant. Excuse me. The park was not the reason why we had to move. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
First of all, the issue with the park, is, and your point is interesting. But if you go back in history, that same issue was brought up. Hey, is this a gift of public funds? We lease the park to them. We aren't giving it to them.
Right. And there was a time when we didn't need it. Now we do, and we're not taking it. We're building a new plant
Well, that's
instead.
just it.
So
We
we
don't-
should either consider selling the park, the land, or we should
Steve, would you let
declare it a
let
gift.
Arden say
which is a
why
crime. It's a
why
crime.
they can we wait and just let Arden finish what he's trying to say?
Yeah.
But I'd
about
rather
why
hear
we
it from the lawyer.
decided- About
No,
why we decided to, about why we decided not to expand the Horton, but to go for the regional plant.
No, that's a good question, but we did give you a fairly thorough explanation. There's a lot. We need to start providing service to the south and the west and the southwest. And if we hold off and put money into this plant, which would be substantial, then that might be also money that we wasted, because much of the growth is going to occur to the west. And this allows us to start providing service to that area. It provides the community of Desert Hot Springs with, the infrastructure that is needed to provide that service and is there for the growth. Yeah, at some point we may need to make up our mind as to what we want to do with that park and who owns it and who doesn't. Right now, we figured it's hard to put a price tag on it, but we think it has saved a substantial amount of money by making the decision to move. There's actually a study done by, it was done back in 2008 by Tetra Tech, and it evaluated the options that we had available. And basically the conclusion of that study is we should move to the regional plant right now. And then at a later date, if there may still be a reason that we need to increase the capacity, but also as growth occurs around the existing plant, we may have to move most of our flow to the regional plant. That's something that is probably going to happen after most everybody that is in this meeting is not here anymore. But we did give you, and Steve was the one that I thought gave an excellent presentation on the rationale for and the process we went to. We literally think we've saved millions of dollars for the district in the future by making the move to that plant right now. And we also are going to see hopefully $8 or $16 million in grants and a 0.9% financing, which is something we will never see again. But we can come back and put it on the agenda again.
Okay, Director Duncan, do you have any questions or comments on
No, ma'am.
the plant? Director Sewell,
No, thank you.
Vice President Martin,
No
or
comment.
Russ's iPad? Your last name is iPad today. Good,
I see that.
Vice President iPad?
No comment.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move on then, if I don't hear any more questions. Number 8.
Madam President, I just wanted to point out that the water code governing county water district does allow, and I'm not weighing in on what the board decides to do with land, but just to respond to the question, it does allow a county water district to use any land under its control for recreational purposes.
Yeah, this
An
has
interesting provision in the water code, but it does allow county water districts to do that.
we did have extensive conversations about this back 15 years ago, and it was legal to do what we did. I questioned it also.
Well, we didn't do it. It was done way before.
It was done
us.
before I got here. I know that.
Me too, done before I got here. In fact, I picketed to get it done.
I had
As
to
a
save
Little
same
League mom
question
and as
to
a Little
Director
League
Grasha.
board member, we were out picketing on the corner of Palm and Pearson to get them to release the park so that the kids could have a place to play. They didn't have a park to play baseball in. So that's how come the district back then decided to do that. Anyway, okay. So item number 8, administration courtyard building update.
All right, I'm, as you know, Brian is going to give you a short update with this. We don't really have a lot to say today. You've kind of given us some new direction, and we're in the process of putting this all together. We've had a lot of good input. Brian is the lead on this project, and I'll let him kind of give you just some of the salient points right now. Okay, Brian.
Thank you, Arden. Good afternoon, Madam President, Vice President, members of the board. Again, just a quick update on the new building project. First, I want to thank the board for its clear direction. Understanding we have significant needs at both the administrative building and the corporate yard. We are now moving forward with a single building approach for all district staff. Secondly, as we continue to look for and find a location for that building, we'll continue to update the board. These types of decisions are major accomplishments as a single building approach will serve the district for many, many decades. We want to make sure we move forward, but we also want to do so after all options have been vetted and properly vetted, and I think we're doing that. Some of the key points that we're looking at in the next 30 days, scheduling of tours of the recently constructed Desert Hot Springs City Hall, Palm Springs Unified School District Boardroom. We are going to issue a request, a statement of qualifications for architectural engineering services. We are also going to issue a request for statement of qualification for real estate broker services. Those two items, we hope to bring recommendations of both contracts to the next board meeting on April 19th. I know it's a short update, but there's a lot of things going on right now, and those requests for qualifications are going to be vital for the project moving forward. Are there any questions?
Director Grasha.
Yeah, could you go over the locations that you're considering so that I know what you're talking about it and I can go look at what those are?
Actually, the location was shared in the agenda item at our last special meeting. Was it 14688, I believe, Palm Drive?
So you've got one that you're looking at, or?
Yes, 14866 Palm Drive is the one that we're focusing on right now.
Oh, that's the sliver between the corner and the hotel? That's
I believe the property is 7.5 acres.
Oh, wait. I thought that got nixed and now it's down to 3 acres because the corner's not available. Did I miss something at the last meeting I left?
Are you talking about the same property, Brian, as he is?
Yes, I'm talking about the same property.
Okay.
Yes.
So, well, that was off the table because it had sold to, was about to become a mobile station and nobody wanted to get in the middle of that deal. So I don't know how you're still talking about that unless you're, because I thought you were talking to just a piece of that 7.5 acres.
Yes, that's exactly what was
Okay.
discussed.
All right, so that I thought maybe that sounded like the corner suddenly became available. So I'm hoping for the whole thing and I'm not interested in building a broom closet for another district that probably will grow into our
Well, I don't think any of us are, so thank you. Okay, Director Duncan,
No questions, thank you.
Director Sewell,
No, thank you.
Vice President iPad.
No comment.
Thank you. It's really Vice President Martin for anybody listening. Anyway, okay. So we'll now have the consent agenda. I do have a slight correction on the minutes of February 16th. On the very last part of the minutes on page, let me see, what is it? It's comments. I had it here. Anyway, the last part on that, it was what I said about SB 323. You'd see the minutes say it was about water rates. It's about water and sewer rates. That was just the only part. Okay, just to make sure that everybody knows it was about both water and sewer, not just water. Other than that, I don't have any other corrections. Any Director Duncan, do you have any comments or corrections on
No,
Hey,
ma'am.
wait, excuse me, let me go back, you guys. Let me go back. Does any board member want to pull any of these items for discussion? Go back to what I'm supposed to be doing. Do I hear any? No, I don't hear anybody want to pull it, so I will entertain them. That would be item number 9 and 10. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with the correction to the minutes of February 16th.
So moved.
All right, I'll second it.
Roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Gracia,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Martin,
Yes.
President Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Now, director's reports. That's up-
Register of demands.
Oh, the register of demands. Yes, thank you.
That was with the consent agenda.
That's
That
part
was,
of the
with-
consent.
yeah, okay. Now the director's upcoming events and director's reports. So
Got
that-
it. Okay.
Okay. I gotta see where we're at here. Oh, did anybody else have to do their reports today? Is this the one where we do our reports on the
It
meetings?
is, yes. You're the only one that needs to report.
I'm the only one, okay. So the only one I have on there is was the DC, Washington DC conference where we had a bunch of legislatures come in and talk to us. We had Representative Huffman from California, District Number 2. I don't think he was a Republican. He was the one Randy was talking about last time. A couple of things about him. He says his big thing is water supply. He's on the House Natural Resources Committee. He is part of the HR2 infrastructure bill, which would, according to him, he said would help stop going from crisis to crisis if we could have enough money to replace and to repair all of the infrastructure for water that's necessary in the state. So he's working on that one. Representative La Malfa, California District 1. He says this administration has no will to do anything on the Delta or the sites reservoirs or anything like that. He doesn't believe they have the will to do that, which would really be a bummer. Representative Levin, California 49th District. He's on the House National Resources Committee. I'm just picking out one or two little things that they said that I picked up on and thought might be interesting. He said that he's involved with the North San Diego and South Orange County clean energy jobs. That's what he does. And then we have Representative Costa, who has been a long time water. He's been the California's water guy for years. He was in the Assembly and the Senate, California Assembly, California Senate. And then he moved up into the House of Representatives. I remember him when I first got appointed, just about. He was one of the main legislators that would come to the aqua conferences and whatnot and give his reports and his presentations and everything. One of the things he said, let's work together. And he did talk about how long he'd been working with aqua on water issues. Then there's Representative Kevin Calvert, California Assembly District 42, House Appropriations Committee, Energy and Water Subcommittee. He's saying water should be a compromise and it should have negotiations, but so far with this administration, they've had none. He said California needs storage. Then we have Representative Garamendi. He wants to expand WIFIA, which is Water Infrastructure Financial Something Act. He would like to extend that to a 50-year payback. I don't know what it is now, but a 50-year payback, that might be good. But he said we need to lobby Padilla for that issue, just if anybody's interested. So then we had Padilla there also. He was talking about education is the solution to sustainability. Facts are what it takes for reliability. And he said working with Feinstein on water legislation. I do know that they just presented a bill about the New River and the Tijuana River and the water pollution. They just put out a new bill, him and Feinstein together on that one. Also, he said that the WIN Act I can't remember what that means, but it's an infrastructure money act. And he thinks that Costa, Feinstein, and McCarthy should all be authorized to reach milestones. So I think what he was saying was that they can't reach them all together, so maybe a few of them together can. That was it. I just kind of picked out a few little things. It was just those guys. Okay, so now we have correspondence and the thank you notes and all that was in there. General manager's report.
Nothing new to add. I think the important thing was the COVID change in status. And also, I want to reiterate that, which I basically stated, is that we've completed the meter replacement program. We need to get the shape files and some other paperwork in place, and we'll bring it to you at the board meeting in April. And so I'm happy to report that all the meters have been replaced. The work that we're waiting on is actually work that we're doing. So, and we'll always be working on the meters. So that'll never discontinue.
Kind of like the San Francisco Bridge. Once you get done paying, start over again.
Start at one end and go back. Yes.
But okay, you know that your written report was good and it had some beautiful pictures in it. Who does your photography? They're beautiful and they're so colorful in the report.
Well, we've really been up in our game here, and I hope that I want to compliment the staff. The pictures and a lot of the work that goes into that is Victoria's. Victoria, did you have anything more you wanted to add today? Anything new come up?
Yes, I would if you'll indulge me.
Oh, I just saw your hand. Sorry.
No worries. Sure. Well, we didn't get a chance to do the public affairs report last week, so very briefly, just want to highlight that, Madam President, members of the board. So the biggest item of note, actually, let me see, I'll close with the biggest item of note. So we are doing a push for the toilet rebates. So if you're on Facebook or even any our digital ads, they're really going to be pushing for the toilet rebates. So for those of you in the community, please make sure to let any residential or commercial customers know that that's something that we have available. Also, you'll find our digital advertising report as well as our social media report. And what I wanted to close with, so I didn't have much to update, but what I wanted to close with was, so CV water counts. And throughout the month of February, we had that 5-week class, the course, the Water Counts Academy, and that culminated last 2 Thursdays ago, the 5th. And so we have 3 MSWD staff members who did attend that, and that they'll receive a completion certificate. And that was April Scott, Lisa Pelton, and Carol Morin. And so the last session, normally we do an in-person tour, and we'll either focus on an East Valley and do like a couple of the sites out there, or on the West Valley. And last year, actually, we went to a CVWD site, a DWA site, and then our solar fields. But so this year, in a virtual environment due to COVID, everyone got to put together a short video of kind of a virtual tour or different aspects of their respective agency that they wanted to talk about. So I would like to share my screen if I could, and I can. Okay, here we go. And I wanted to show, which I did send out to the board members, but I wanted to put on record our virtual tour video, which was about the Allen Horton treatment plant and the regional reclamation plant that we have coming up. So can everyone see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'll hit play.
Mission Springs Water District has one simple mission: provide, protect, and preserve our most valuable resource, water. The district has provided its customers with fresh, reliable drinking water since 1953, even tapping the title of best tasting water in the world 3 times in the past 20 years. In order to preserve that fresh drinking water, Mission Springs Water District serves as a steward for all water in its service area, including wastewater.
Hi, my name is Lee Boyer. I'm the Chief Plant Operator of the Mission Springs Water District, Allen L. Horton Wastewater Treatment Plant.
The district treats 2 million gallons of wastewater every day from houses, restaurants, and other businesses within its area.
It all goes in the collection system and flows into our inflow pump station, the structure here behind me. The bottom of that well is 30 feet deep. We have 4 40 horsepower pumps that we run 1, 2, 3, or 4 as necessary. They actually pump the flow up into the structure over here.
This is known as the grit removal system. The process removes sand, silt, and grit from the wastewater, so it's ready to go through one of the 5 aeration tanks. These tanks are filled with microorganisms used to break down organic compounds and nutrients. Next, the water goes through a series of gates known as the clarifier. Any remaining solids settle to the bottom and are eventually removed. State-mandated testing ensures that the treatment process works effectively.
We need to test the water, what we're putting in, to make sure that we're not doing degradation to the groundwater table below us.
The plant has 3 monitoring wells that are tested quarterly. Finally, these 2 million gallons of water flow into 8 percolation ponds and filter into the ground.
We want to protect everything going into the ponds to make the ponds perform better and also protect the groundwater below.
Meanwhile, the solids removed from the wastewater go through their own treatment process.
Our biggest goal at the plant is to maintain our solids. We don't want our solids to increase, but we don't want to waste so much that we don't have any solids, because that'll upset the process.
A machine called the belt filter press squeezes the water from the solids. That water goes back through the treatment process and the solids are hauled away to be recycled. Mission Springs Water District takes pride in its affiliation with the Desert Hot Springs Groundwater Guardian Team, a community educational program that is recognized internationally. In 1995, the district implemented the Groundwater Quality Protection Program. The goal of this septic to sewer program is to provide an additional 11,500 residents with sewer service. To give you an idea of how important the program has been to the community, approximately 782 million gallons of sewage have been prevented from percolating into the groundwater every year. As the Horton plant nears capacity, success from the Groundwater Quality Protection Program has paved the way for a new facility to treat an additional 1.5 million gallons of wastewater per day. And with additional homes connecting to the sewer system, the need is greater than ever for this new treatment plant to avoid any overflows and ensure water quality is maintained at the current plant. The Regional Water Reclamation Facility will utilize a different treatment process than the current Horton plant, known as the sequence batch reactor treatment process, which has many benefits and is more efficient.
The better the process is running, the better our final product.
It has the capacity to meet the needs of future development and economic growth in the area. The smaller footprint of the plant will also allow for future expansion, including treatment for recycled water.
And that crystal clear water will be the first stage in advanced water treatment at this facility.
Designs for the Regional Water Reclamation Plant are complete and work is soon to commence. As stewards of our most precious resource, water, these projects allow Mission Springs Water District to continue providing award-winning water to customers for generations to come. Visit MSWD.org to learn more about Mission Springs Water District and our groundwater protection efforts.
Okay. Oh, thank
Very nice, Victoria. Very nice.
you. I appreciate the kind words. This was definitely, it was a team effort. Want to give a great shout out to Lee and the wastewater team for letting us come out there and interrupt their day and, you know, our rising stars here at the district. But so that is now on our homepage as well. And so we are really hoping to use this collateral to, you know, inform people how the treatment process works, but also, you know, as we do other video series too in the next coming months, and as we document the regional reclamation plants build, we have essentially desert land where it is right now. So I just wanted to show that to the board, and that was what was showcased at last week's or 2 weeks ago Academy session. Otherwise than that, I have no other public outreach efforts to report. I'm open to questions if you have any.
It's about the website thing. It's not really about that, but used to be on our website, our pictures on the board page. We used to be able to click on the picture, and then anybody could take that picture. It allow them to use that picture then, for newspapers or whatever want to use your professional picture. I couldn't seem to make it do that. Do we not have that anymore? And if we don't, can we get it back or not?
It's definitely still there. So it's under the Board of Directors section. And Dory, I'm sorry for I happen to be right there. So you would go under your respective self and click image for media use.
Oh, I was clicking the image. Okay, like that's what we did before.
Dory?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, she's nodding.
I have
Okay, so if anybody needs to use that picture, that's all they have to do then, and tell somebody to go on our website, click on that, and then that gives them a copy of that picture that they can use for whatever they need it for. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Victoria, you mentioned the toilet rebate program.
Yes.
Do we still have or plan on having again a turf removal rebate program in
We
place?
do, yes. That's still in the works. It should be launching very shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Director Sewell, do you have any questions for Victoria?
No, just I thought the video was really professionally done. It looked great, and I'm excited to see more videos in the future.
Director Duncan?
All ditto, Ivan. Yeah, that was a real good video.
And but you already did yours, Vice President Martin. Anything else? No? No. Okay, Director Grasha, did I call on you?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
But thank you. I would like to say congratulations. That was a great addition to the district's marketing efforts. And I could, if I could suggest, it's maybe not complete. Maybe you could cover in future installments every aspect of the district's operations. The new meters, and you could you could literally make a 20-minute video out of that, so that anybody that has any interest in the district would be able to see it and get a positive experience, as opposed to choppy messages that we get when we're arguing with people on Facebook and Nextdoor and so forth. But it was extraordinary. And the people that worked on that top level is as good as I've ever seen a commercial video, and I've seen a lot of them. Thank you.
Pleasure, thank you.
Thank you for that comment. Okay, so we will now move on. That was all under General Manager's report. Okay, financial report.
Unless you have any questions, that was done on Thursday.
Right. Okay.
I did have, I don't know if Matt was able to, those delinquent accounts, I was wondering how many accounts it actually was.
I did look that up, and it was about 2,500 accounts that made up, had delinquent balances at the end of February. So about 20% of our customers have delinquent charges outstanding on their accounts.
Okay, and do you know how many were that 120 days plus?
How many were 120 plus? I do not have that number in front of me. Was that a question that you asked on Friday? I apologize.
Yes, but it's fine. I mean, that was like the most severe column that you had, that 120 days plus, that seemed like it was really a step up from what it has been in years past.
Yeah, and that is probably where the majority of them lie, because that's where the largest balances are. So chances are, since February of last year, those outstanding balances have been carrying over for a small number of customers and have stretched it out that far past 120.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
I can see you all. Any other comments for or questions for Matt?
No.
Okay, seeing none. District Council report.
Nothing today. We covered what we needed to go over with the board in closed session last week.
Okay,
No
thank you.
closed session today.
No
No
closed.
closed session today, correct? Yes, no closed session today. Okay, director's comments. Director Grusha?
Well, yeah, I would like to impress upon this board one more time, as I did in closed session. So I'd like to bring it out in open session and say, we need to get this building right. We only get one chance in your whole lives. You only get to do this one time. Do it right. Grab hold of the best piece of property possible and build the best building you can build for the money that this district can afford. There's only one piece of property, in my view, that's adequate. It's adjacent to our existing facilities, and it would be a huge mistake to look back on this opportunity and say we blew it because we didn't want to get in the way of a mobile gas station. With that, I suggest you think about it over the weekend, and no matter how much you hate me, this is your opportunity to go look back on your time here and say we did something good, and this is it. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. And I don't know if hate's the right word, so I don't hate you, Steve. Anyway, Director, anybody else? Director Duncan?
No, thank you.
Director Sewell?
Yeah, mine director comment probably doesn't make the most sense since Danny Friend's not in the call, but I did want to compliment Danny Friend. I had a couple ratepayer calls last week and he was very thorough and helpful in getting those problems solved. So thank you to Danny.
Thank you, Danny, for Ivan. Anyway, Vice President Martin?
Yeah, I want to echo some of the positive comments concerning the film we just watched from Victoria. Good work, and keep up the good work. You're doing a fantastic job. That's all.
Thank you. Director Duncan?
Still
Did
none.
I already ask you? I don't know. Anyway, okay, nothing. Okay, so we don't have a closed session today, so if I don't hear anything else, meeting adjourned.
All right.
Have a good day.
Nice
Thank
week,
you all.
everybody.